Hello and welcome to Gauntlet Comics. Gauntlet Comics is a living campaign, shared GM, shared setting that we are doing in 2019 for the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is a community, worldwide community of tabletop friends, aficionados, and I don't know, experts and buddies as we all play these small press and OSR games on the internet, primarily through Google Hangouts, until Google capriciously decides to take that away from us. I'm not bitter, Google Plus. I miss you already. The bell is going away in just 2 days, and I'm already feeling verklempt. Nevertheless, let us move forward. In Gauntlet Comics, every month I choose a different game system, and we create characters that are all compiled in a cool wiki of this shared system or shared setting. It's in New Gauntlet City. Jim Crocker is running crazy games as well, and for this quarter, ending in March, Lowell, who at least one of us knows pretty well, is also running. He's been running Masks, and there's the kind of accompanying little podcast for people to kind of listen to and keep up with and have fun immortalizing these weird stories we tell. This month, we are trying out Demigods PBTA, which is a game that is currently in beta playtesting, written by Jason Mills. And it is about, as we were talking before I clicked the button, similar to the Percy Jackson idea of modern day setting. Characters who have a deity of some mythology as a parent. Now, you would think that's a little weird, Rich, if this Gauntlet Comics things you're doing has superheroes. And I would say, yes, it is. But I like doing weird things, and I have creative friends who like doing them too. So we're going to give this a shot. We have 3 players with us right now. A 4th may be joining us if tech issues allow. So what we're going to do is have each of you talk a little bit about your character, and then we'll circle back around to do the relationships between the characters. Remembering, let's save one in case David is able to join us, and those are called threads. So this is a PBTA game that has stats and moves and HX/relationships or bonds, but they all have these really cool thematic names. So I may occasionally call it by the wrong name. I do apologize ahead of time. I'll do my best to use Demigods vernacular, but hopefully you guys can follow. Alexi, if you could you please introduce us to your character?
Absolutely, Rich. So I'm going to be playing Danny Malachi, who is the son of Pele, the deity of volcanoes and fire from the Hawaiian pantheon. I'm playing with the playbook, the Elemental, as seemed most appropriate. So the character, Danny Malachi, is this lanky guy. He has some fiery tattoos that manifest when he uses his powers. They are not present, when he's just a normal guy going about his business. He grew up kind of knowing about his parentage, but his dad was always like kind of unforthcoming about it. He understood that his mother was named Pele and that she lived far away and wasn't in contact with his dad anymore. Later, when he met a shark named Mono that appeared to him when he first manifested his lava powers, the shark explained that his mother, Pele, was indeed the goddess Pele, and he started putting some things together. His father's a seismologist named Dietrich Calder. In my mind, the backstory is Dietrich was studying volcanoes in Hawaii. He had a dream one night where he encountered Pele, and then 9 months later, his garage erupted, and in the wreckage was this baby boy that he realized was his. So Danny feels he needs to kind of earn the approval of the divine side of his family. He's been traveling around to volcanoes and trying to hone his elemental control and master the element of lava, thinking that will make him worthy to meet with Pele and be accepted by her.
Oh, really? So this is all about meeting Mom It's just that, reunion at the end that we're going for here.
That's what he's gunning for.
Cool. And for those who can't see it on the video, the picture that Alexi's drawn of Danny, he is surfing on a shark with flames around. Once that is, you said you were going to color it. I'll wait for it to be colored before we share with the world. But wow, that's just awesome. Is that Mono that he's riding?
Yeah, that's his elemental steed, Mono, the obsidian shark.
That's so cool. How do you imagine, just so I have a cue that doesn't work against your mental image, do you have like an idea of Mono's voice in your head? Or do you want to just let me go with whatever strikes me, or did you have something in your head?
It's probably a little growly and has a little trouble with speaking human words, but Danny's able to understand what the shark's saying.
Nice. I like it. So I won't do any Wookiee, but I'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Alexi, for introducing us to Danny. Let's jump over to Jason. Jason, if you could please introduce us to your character.
Sure. I'm playing Colby Hikaru, and Colby's divine parent is Odin from the Norse pantheon. Go big or go home. He's a kind of scruffy-looking person of German and Japanese descent, but he's good-looking with kind of crazy, stormy hair. And his mom's kind of important, too, because his mom is Hiraku Katsu, who, before she became the 28th champion of Nike, went on kind of a wild, debauched spin through New Gauntlet City, and is at that point where Odin, knowing where the threads of fate were going, seduced and got with her, and then this poor kid was the result. So it was complex, with his mom coming into her own as a hero, and him being a young kid who was in a kind of a complex situation. And then around the time he was 15, he started playing around with 15-year-old paranormal stuff, Ouija boards, let's summon a god, whatever. And he accidentally summoned the ghost of Richard Wagner, who, having written the Ring saga, was like, holy crap, you're Odin's kid. And he's like, I'm what to who now? He's actually not super keen on gods in general, and Odin in particular, because he's read enough of the stories to know that Odin, whatever he may feel for his kids, always uses them as pawns. And in general, that's how he feels about gods. They use people as pawns. It's super not cool. He'd rather the gods stayed the hell off Earth. So he's a little bitter about it. And he wanders around pretty much the globe because he can, as a kind of a little bit of a vagabond magician, collecting things here and there, but mostly looking to have his own kind of decadence. But he'll rise up when the situation calls for it.
Okay, sounds like a little bit of a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
A little bit.
How is his relationship with his mother?
His relationship is not good, because when he found out who his dad was, he ran away from home. And so she knows he's out there somewhere, and he knows she's out there somewhere, but they don't really talk.
Okay. And she's somewhere in the city. Would Colby admit that might be a reason why he ended up in New Gauntlet City of late?
Massive godly intellect, but mommy issues, so no.
Okay. Good deal. Like it a lot. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Jason. We're gonna let Dave's able to join us, but he looks like he's working through some camera issues. So Sherry, you are up, my friend. Please introduce us to your character. Oh, and you are muted. I muted you, so I didn't give you that heads up. Sorry.
Thank you. That's all right. I'm sure that I was moving things around. Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm playing Althea, Ellie Darden. Her mother was Persephone. Her father was Neil Darden, the garden guy, trademarked. He's a media personality, the face of organic gardening for everyday people, just how to get things started in little pots on your patio and that kind of thing. He's hugely popular. Think, Bill Nye, but he's a garden guy, right? So, and
do you see him on like a broadcast network or like a PBS thing or radio show?
I think he's probably PBS and YouTube or whatever the thing is for the Gauntlet.
That's awesome.
City. Yeah,
I love it. Nice.
So, so he's big there. So he's a media personality, and of course, she kind of grew up on TV, sort of in the background, helping him and all that stuff. But anyway, her parents separated like right after she was born, and she's primarily in the custody of her father, but spent weekends with her mother. So, like during the main part of the year, she would go to stay with her mother. And it seemed like a very normal life, except that her grandmother was there and the two of them were always going after each other and stuff like that. So it's a very sort of fraught thing. She kind of preferred the winters, but that was weird too, because they went to this sort of house that, like, they would take a plane ride and then they would get there and it was all wintry and dark the whole time, kind of, wherever they were. But it was pretty neat. The only thing is that for that weekend, and they would fly in for just the weekend, her mother would pre-pack all of her meals in Tupperware, and she had to eat out of Tupperware the whole time she was there. She hated that. But her stepdad, because it turns out that this was the guy her mom was now married to, he was all right. He always spoiled her a whole bunch. So, yeah, and it was actually her high school graduation when Hades actually told her that he was Hades and that she was a daughter of Persephone.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I love her perception of the underworld for a brief period in her life before the truth was revealed.
She thought he was a mob boss or something, because he always had people around him and she didn't know why, and she wasn't sure why she had to eat out of Tupperware, all that stuff. Like maybe it could be poison. So it made a lot of sense, but he actually explained it because he gave her an outrageous gift, which was a diamond scepter. Yeah. So it's a weapon. So she's Persephone's daughter, but Hades is probably angling for her loyalty.
That is
that okay?
Yes, I love. Allie is amazing.
Yes.
She's super cool. That is great. David, if you work through, are you with us? David? Oh, yes. Let me try going through here. Sometimes our technologies just don't agree with us. And that is always a bit frustrating. I am tempted now to try to play Hades as if he has just a little bit of boss vernacular to him. Would that break anyone's brains? Because my default voice for Hades is a bad James Woods impression because of the movie Hercules.
Oh.
And I think I'd rather do a bad mafia boss impression because that just tickles me.
That sounds fine. It's probably how she hears him. So
cool. This is so good. All right. Well, unfortunately, it looks like David's tech is not agreeing with him, and so we are going to move forward with Tangles, and we'll just keep one free in case Dave is able to work stuff out. Tangles are our relationships, or HX, or history between each other. And so if you just take a look, we'll circle back around, and I'll start using everybody's character names so we can get used to it. Danny, could you... yeah, it looks like David audio is not working. He's able to hear and see us, but the audio isn't coming through, so he's not able to talk to us. Bummer. So if you could, Danny, what tangles do you have? And let's talk about who might share them.
Yeah, I'll read the elemental tangles. You are fascinated by Blank's charismatic way with people. Blank's manner is a complete mystery to you. You accidentally injured Blank with your element. You had a fling with Blank, but were confused when things got complicated afterward. You rely on blank to be your elemental whisperer, clarifying for you when you're not making sense. And you've tussled with blank and respect their abilities. I lean towards taking that first one. You are fascinated by blank's charismatic way with people, and putting Allie in the blank there. Does that make sense to you, Sherry? Does that seem appropriate?
I don't know. Her awe is pretty low, but she has she's used to getting her way and
She's got
has
divine vitality.
yeah. So yeah, the vitality in her. Sure, I can go with that.
Nice.
Cool. What other ones of those threads do you feel tangles? Sorry, I'm going to mess up tangles and threads. Hopefully, I won't mess up spindles. I'm doing my best. What other tangles do you think might apply?
Oh, okay, got it. I mean, I like what's suggested by you accidentally injured blank with your element. Is that something that I could point at Colby?
Your element being lava?
My element being lava.
Yes, I think we could say that you accidentally injured Colby with lava. He is less hardy than Allie.
Yeah. Danny's really sorry about that, though.
Is this a burn scar that is visible on Colby somewhere?
Oh man, you tell me.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking Colby. You want to?
I am positive that there's a scar.
Where?
So
I still want him handsome and scruffy, so you know.
Oh yeah, no, naturally.
Sexy burn.
I think there's like across his back. There's like a spray pattern from where he was riding his lava shark. Or is that what the shark does? Does the shark ride on lava?
Oh yeah.
You're right. So he splashed some lava while he was going by, and it like burned right into his back. I think they were probably doing something epic at the time, but like Colby was unaware because he was concentrating on a spell, and he wasn't really ready for the hot lava shower.
Sorry, man. Watch out.
That is great. Good. So we have a few that we can save, and hopefully one of them will apply to David's character. Circle over to Colby. What tangles do you have? We'll try using the way that it's suggested here in Demigods. Go ahead and read out all of your tangles. And then if anyone, once they're done, if you're like, oh, that one definitely sounded like me, then pipe up. Otherwise, we'll circle back around and see what Colby wants to hand out.
All right. So my tangles are blank, doesn't get what you do, but at least they're pretty. You have a grudging respect for blank's skills. You fought the supernatural shoulder to shoulder with blank and trust them explicitly. Your pride has kept you from telling blank your true feelings. Blank knows the dark secret you keep locked away. And you accidentally injured blank with your powers, but they don't know it was your fault. So,
I'm a little interested in the dark secret one, especially if you have a thought about what the dark secret is.
I'm happy to have a dark secret. So let's say it'll have to do with the epic thing that we were fighting in the first place.
Right.
And I think it probably has something to do with when Colby started doing magic. He wasn't terribly, he wasn't trained, he was intuitive. So I think it's fair to say he probably said something loose he shouldn't have. Possibly several somethings. So let's say that he He was just really curious about what was in that box that Pandora has. So we'll say he set loose a couple of Pandora's demons that were still hanging, that had been like recaptured, and it wasn't on purpose. And nobody knows he did it except for you, because you helped him put some of them back.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so
Some, but not all of them back.
yeah. All right. I'll write it out more all the way in a moment, and then I need one for Allie.
Yeah.
So. I feel like I kind of need to get a better handle on Allie. Let's go with, like, my default here is going to be the grudging respect for her skills, because she deals with things that I don't really. But I just don't feel like I have enough of a handle on her for more than that. Is there something on here that interests you, Sherry?
Well, I don't know. If you say a thing, I'll make it that way. Does that make any sense?
I mean, it does, but it doesn't help me make any decisions. I mean, it does the opposite.
What would be amusing?
You know what? Let's make it at least you're pretty. You don't get what I do, but at least you're pretty.
All right.
Ooh.
All right.
Oh no.
I mean, I had to study to get where I am. I'm just saying.
Harsh.
All right.
It's harsh. Allie's got. Oh man, Colby's not a great dude.
At least I'm pretty.
At least you're pretty. I'm happy to change. Hey, look, I'm happy to change it later.
The tangles start at a certain point. We need potential for growth, so that is a-okay as long as we keep it. That it's not a great way to think of somebody, but these are characters. They're not us.
Nope.
We are okay.
Blame the game writer.
And this will be a perfect opportunity for me to remind you guys, or to announce, you've all played with me before, but just to make sure that you understand that safety tools are important. And if there's any part of this game that makes you feel unsafe or extremely uncomfortable to where you're no longer having fun playing the game, all you need to do is make an X, because we are using the X card. You can either make an X like this or type it into the chat on our Google Hangout, or we also have Roll for Your Party, which does have an X card button. And all I'm going to do at that point is pause the game. I will challenge you on what you've X carded, but I will ask what it is just so I understand. And then we will avoid it. We'll excise that from our play, and we'll write our way around it. And if it's a thing where you start off thinking it's going to be okay, but it starts to get to you after a while, you still can X card it. We'll take a moment and figure out how to work around it, and then we will do so. I have faith in all of our creativities to make sure that this is a safe and fun experience for all of us, because your fun and your safety is more important to me than the story they're being told. Like, we're making up this story, we can make up different stuff. So there's that. I consider this game generally in a PG-13 vein, just so people kind of have that at a point. And so anything that's within the vein of PG-13 is where I'll go, and I'll go with the best possible intentions. But if there's a thing that I tread upon that bothers you, just let me know. Sherry, aka Allie, you've got some tangles to hand out as well. What would you like to hand out?
I think that the one that I like is the idea that hold on, I got to get the names right here. Danny pulled off a newsworthy bit of eco-terrorism. So, I think that we were able to, how should we say, completely, let's see here, like, probably free a bunch of like whales and stuff from an expedition, like a fishing expedition, some international fishing expedition, and we put a halt to that. Does something like that sound good? I figure it had to be something a little more seaworthy.
Did we destroy some boats with lava?
Oh no, what we did is we destroyed the rigging so they couldn't capture them.
Nice.
So we didn't hurt anyone. We just kept them from actually getting any fishing done or whaling, so to speak. So.
Yeah, I think Danny probably did a little more damage than he meant to, but that's the thing when you're using lava for eco.
Exactly, and she understands that. So one of the things is she does seem to have a very acute sensitivity to life and death in that transition between them. And she's kind of in her own way a little bit, how do you say, like super sensitive about that. So she tends to be very, not pacifist, but like she doesn't want it to hurt and she doesn't want it to be by mistake. Like everything has to be meaningful.
So if you're going to kill somebody, you need to mean it?
No, I guess she tries really hard not to. Oh. And does that make any sense? And if it was an accident, then she would really kill. I mean, something happened by accident, she would pick it.
Uh-oh. David?
Okay, yeah.
You are with us. Yes, we can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Welcome. Good. Were there any other tangles for Allie?
Sure. Colby just seems oblivious to the natural world.
He's got magic.
Yep. But he's only using, 20% of the world's potential.
I mean, he's a city guy who literally does not actually ever have to travel through the country if he doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot. Awesome. So, Allie, everybody's kind of saved one for Pillar. Let's have David introduce Pillar for anyone that's watched previous games. In the Masks game that I ran, we had an opportunity to meet Pillar. I know Jason has some pretty fond memories of such a wonderful character, and I am very happy to have him returning. So, David, thank you for not giving up and continuing to push through, and you defeated that beast, aka technology, in the interwebs, for now at least. Please introduce Pillar for those who have not met them.
Yeah, Pillar started his game life as a newborn in Masks, and kind of the thing he came up with was one of the Masks, like the Gauntlet city, kind of a superhero people that we already came up with, kind of accidentally created Pillar through just, I think, being upset over a possible breakup with their significant other. And when a trickster god has, emotion, sometimes just concrete comes to life around them. And this time it was Pillar, who's been, I think, might be coming up on a year old at this point, and has been kind of involved with a superhero team, but I think has recently figured out that demigods exist, and has discovered that he might have this divine spark in him too, and so is convinced that he wants to go out and meet all of his siblings, whether they know that their siblings or not.
Oh, I think we're getting a bit of echo. Test. Oh, it went away. That was weird. Okay, that's wonderful. I really like that. So with Pillar in mind, you've chosen the playbook of the Artisan. I think you need a third move, so you can work on that in a bit after we work out the tangles. Let's circle back around to Danny. Do you have any particular tangles that are unassigned that scream Pillar to you?
The one that might make the most sense to me is you've tussled with Pillar and respect their abilities. I am playing a character who's all about lava. I feel like, a a rocky guy is someone who's a little bit in that same wheelhouse, and so maybe these characters have sparred at least. Sound plausible?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. All right, go ahead and mark that down. We'll jump over to Colby. Do you have any tangles that you want to offer up to Pillar?
So Pillar as an artisan is actually, I think, the person that I will put a grudging respect for, because they make sweet supernatural stuff, and I'm like, sweet. And it's also actually outside of my skill set, but still something that Colby would really appreciate. So I have a grudging respect for Pillar skills.
Oh, it's a shame that you'd already handed out. At least they're pretty.
I totally would have taken it, actually. Because there's also just this is a giant interesting thing for me to examine. But
Since this is a burning question. Where is Theodora in this? This is Theodora's the character Jason played in the last. I just want for readers, there'll be an editor's note of why Theodora isn't part of this team. What is she off doing?
Well, I mean, she for one is not a demigod.
Right.
She
exactly.
she's straight up a witch, so she wouldn't be on the team. I think that the other thing about it is that she kind of values being unique, and going with a lot of people that are all similar to her would probably drive her a little nuts.
Cool. All right. So
Plus, demigods don't really want cameras on them all the time.
Well, that is definitely a thing about being the star. Is sometimes you drive away other folks who don't want to be stars or co-stars or all sorts of things. Cool. Thank you for that.
Supporting characters.
So, Allie, what tangle would you like to offer up to Pillar? By the way, Sherry and Alexi, Pillar is naive and genuine and adorable. So just keep that in mind.
He'll fit in great with these kids.
Yeah, totally. You're going to use and abuse him. It's going to be great. He's the best janitor as well. Okay. So, Allie, what tangles did you want to offer to Pillar? You are talking on mute.
This is my true superpower, my ability to mute myself. Okay, under all circumstances. So, essentially, I think that Allie really understands the world very much in terms of human relationships and stuff. So, Pillar is like double strange to her because he's made of rock and he's animated, and he's only a year old, and there's something kind of like she just doesn't get it, and I think she's not sure if she wants to. It feels like there's something very wrong there to her, not with Pillar, but with what's happened. I don't think she's resolved that. So I think that's what I offer, if that makes sense for that tangle. And I have one that says you can't wrap your head around Pillar, and you're not sure if you want to.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Cool. Now, Pillar, if you could read out, I think you've got 6 tangles for the artisan, and then we'll see which of those tangles apply to your cohorts.
Yeah, I've got those up. So I have, you made an epic item for somebody, and they owe you. The one I have is someone relies on your expertise, and you have mutual respect. Or 3 is you're head over heels for blank, but you don't think that they know. And then if someone drags you to another party, you're going to scream. And you and someone are on a hunt for rare material of some kind. And finally, you confided a deep secret in someone. Will they keep it?
Very good.
Yeah.
I find that rare material one intriguing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that material. Is this a rare magical material or a rare mundane material?
Let's see. I think elsewhere in the playbook they mentioned there's like a kind of a divine metal that can be made under really difficult circumstances.
Or a calcum.
I was gonna guess orichalcum.
You got it. Is that a thing for mythology? That was a new word for me. I loved it.
Yeah, it's sometimes connected to like Atlantis legends.
Oh.
Maybe
It's a big thing in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh.
That's where I was like, yes, I love orichalcum.
Maybe we think it could be made, but only in like kind of super hot undersea volcanoes.
Yes.
Yeah, like it.
So that should be no problem for the two of us. Yeah. I'm sure the next volcano we try will be able to pull it off.
Oh, there is one thing I meant to interject when Allie was talking about the connection to Danny. The new Gauntlet City setting is on a river, but it's part of the Midwest, so it's not actually connected to an ocean. So we'll tweak the eco-terrorism. Maybe it's not whaling, but like some other fishing.
Oh, it had to be local eco-terrorism. Oh, I thought we took a vacation.
Okay, it could be a vacation. It could totally be like in a zero issue. You guys met in Hawaii. I'm fine with that. That's great. Yeah. Let's do that.
I mean, if you had spring break, would you go to Hawaii or would you stay home in the Midwest?
I would go to the underworld with a bunch of packed lunches.
Oh, not in spring, winter.
Oh, you're right. Spring break. Can't do it. Okay, you trump me.
Got back from.
Sweet. So let's circle back around. Sorry for that interjection. So you guys are searching for orichalcum that can be made in undersea volcanoes. That is delightful. What else, Pillar?
Let's see. So I missed kind of the deal with Colby. It's Odin's son, I see. Oh.
Yeah, Colby is the arcane. He's kind of a scruffy wizard who could bounce around the world and, generally speaking, is keen on keeping larger supernatural presences off the world, but just likes enjoying life. I was kind of thinking, if you're interested, what we could do is that Colby could have decided that since you're new to the world and there's all this culture that you won't necessarily have access to, like he's literally just opening up portals every Thursday to take you somewhere else in the world. Like, today we're going to the Parthenon. So it's if blank drags you to another party, you're going to scream. He's not actually taking you to a party. He's just like, more culture for Pillar. And it's never going to be Hawaii.
I kind of love that.
Nice. So you take the if he takes me to another party / museum / concert / parade. I love it. That works great.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I have to go back and look at the move real quick. Hold up here. Look at my portals. Yeah, no, this is Yeah, as long as he's on the mortal plane, he's pretty good. So yeah. Technically, I could take us to a party on the elemental plane too, but no one goes there. It's Deadsville.
Don't say that around Danny. He might get it. Oh, Pillar, did you have anything for Allie?
Yeah. And that's the Allie's kind of the nature spirit, the nature class.
Yep.
What if I don't know, I'm sort of have this half form, but what if it's a confided deep secret? I'm thinking maybe because I think in the mask game, there was like plants and stuff like growing on him at various points, and maybe it's maybe just like the actual material that he's composed of originally. Like there's more, like he's becoming more kind of like the things growing in him. He can also kind of feel or are part of his body or something. He's not really understand what's going on with that, and he's kind of, you're the only one he's told about that. Maybe he approached you in particular, and that's why you're so weirded out. It's just like, I don't know, just get a lawnmower.
Yeah, I can see her kind of shaken by that because it would be very foreign to her. I don't think she would reject you. Yeah, but she would definitely be like, oh, okay, and try to figure it out honestly, but still be very, yeah, worried.
Yeah, cool, that works out.
Yeah, rock guy growing moss, not a problem, not at all a potential threat. I like it. And then let's just take a moment to talk about you guys as a team. There is within Demigods is written. There's a team-based stuff. Oh, JC, you're killing me. There's some team-based questions, but they're all oriented around a particular NPC, a Jimmy Olsen, as it were. I'd like to excise that from our play. That's one of the tweaks I wanted to make. So there is the city map of New Gauntlet City. Let me bring that up on screen. I'd like to see, where is it that you guys reside in the city? Now, as you can see, there are lots of blanks. So if anyone says, you know what, I want a new territory, you can totally get that. There are some that have names and a brief bit of definition, and some that just are named. The downtown area and downtown west is here. Riverfront, near North Riverfront, those are the areas, like the river just runs along the side here. The airport's down here in the south. And then there are a bunch of central areas and southern areas that are undefined. So do you guys, first start off by asking Danny, do you want for you guys to generally be based in a named neighborhood, or would you like to create something new?
Well, I was intrigued. Is the Gate District something that's been defined yet in the city?
Not at all. It's just been given the name Gate District.
I kind of like it because we've got portals, we've got God stuff. Like, even if it's just the ironic coincidence, the idea that these demigods live in the Gate District when they're kind of at the threshold between the divine and mortal worlds, that tickles me.
That is spectacular and creative. I love it. Good. So you guys reside in the Gate District. So I now will ask. Let's see here. Colby, within the Gate District, do you guys all live separately, or do you happen to live in either a building or share a house? What do you think is more fun?
I think it's way more fun if we share a house. I think, given who we are, the house is one of those things where it's bigger or more complex on the inside than the outside, though.
So a little Doctor Who-ish. I like it. And then, Allie, other than the wonderful garden in the back, because it has to have a wonderful garden in the back, what is your favorite feature of this particular house that you guys have found here in the Gate District?
I think the thing that I like about it is that in the house you can find keys in the drawers, and once you find a key and then you find a door to it, it takes you to a different part of the city. So the house itself is a gate to other parts of the city, but you have to find the keys.
I'm furiously writing because that is splendid. So sorry for the lack of sound and reaction there. I was just like, "You must write this down. That's so good."
Are you saying that the house is a portal to other parts of the city?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to put a little break on that.
Oh, okay.
Because that's one of my signature powers.
That's
is
true.
The portal I
Oh,
open.
I'm sorry.
So I kind of don't love also having that in the house.
No,
That's
that makes
fair.
sense. I'm sorry.
I didn't think about that as well. I apologize, Jason. I should.
That's all right.
So
Is it possible that the house portal is a manifestation of your powers, or do you want to just keep them totally separate?
That's a fair question. No, I think I'd rather have them be separate.
Cool. So
that's
let's
it.
try a different way.
Yeah. Okay. And I apologize.
That's
You had
fine.
mentioned the portals, but I had a sense of them as being different sort of, I don't know. I've played so many superhero games in my time. So
Well, you are married to Lowell, so
exactly. That's it.
Blame you.
So I think then that what she likes most about it is that there are locked rooms that when you find the keys to, you find, you could find stuff that was left behind by other people that stayed here. And a lot of it is really interesting and strange. It's like maybe other people like us, other demigods that left things behind, or weird people. You find devices sometimes. It's just a sort of like a repository.
Nice. It's kind of the junk drawer of the universe. I like it. That is great. And then Pillar. Oh shoot! I had a question, and then it kind of evaporated on me. What's one aspect about this house in the Gate District that is a bit of a problem, or certain residents might find it annoying?
About the neighborhood itself.
Actually, about the house. Let's keep it. We'll keep it defined to the house. What about this house is annoying, inconvenient, or problematic?
Let's see. Okay, so what if it's almost like a beacon for lost spirits? Like it might have been like a haunted house, but now maybe, especially since there's so much half divine people congregate it, just all of these spirits that should be going somewhere just kind of drift over into this house.
I like that. Seems appropriately. Yeah, and you guys don't have a Reaper. If only you had a Reaper. That's good. Good. And then the last.
Sorry, we've got a direct line to Hades if we need it.
That's true. If you actually want to call on dear old dad, you could probably, get some Reaper sent, but then there's a whole thing of like, it's a little bit extra effort here. I got some other people assigned, and I'm going to have to reassign. The whole schedule's made out for the next 46 years, so, honey, I could do it, but maybe you could take care of it yourself. Okay, sorry. That was my bad mafia boss accent. Here are the last set of questions. There is a group of there's a team of antagonists with whom you have all had conflicts in the past. And some of you may have relationships with them of some kind from the past or current. This team calls themselves the Furies. And right now, and I will be adding more, I just definitely want to predefine 3 members of the group. There is Cold Heart. Cold Heart is a daughter of Poliahu, one of the 4 Hawaiian goddesses of snow. And she is cursed, as it were. Her powers have manifested in a way that is not unlike Dr. Freeze, I believe, from Batman Mythos. In
Mr.
her
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. I was like, why did I give him a? Well, I always want to give him a doctorate. Dang it! It's Captain Cole, but just Mr. Freeze. Anyway, thank you for that, Mr. Freeze. So her skin is cool to the touch. She actually needs to absorb heat from others. She has until recently been a member of what was ostensibly a super team known as the Future Legion. But as of a few weeks ago, they were disbanded in shame because at least a couple of their members were extorting the neighborhood they were supposedly protecting for money and causing a lot of trouble. And so Coldheart's dealing with the ramifications and fallout from that, but she definitely does not like you. Danny, have the two of you ever been in actual conflict, or is it one of those like Cold War type of Cold War? Anyway, it's one of those brewing things that could bubble up. There, that's on your side.
I think Danny has a like debilitatingly awkward crush on Coldheart, because like he knows their divine parents are rivals, but it's just so cool for there to be another person out there, with this connection to the Hawaiian pantheon, and so he's tried to talk to her sometimes about this, and like he's kind of gotten the cold shoulder.
I love it. We just keep him going. All the cold bloods.
He's not going to give up hope. Keep holding that torch.
This is good.
But he's extremely not smooth around women. So like that, that just kind of remains a problem for him.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. So yeah, she has not returned your affections as you've awkwardly expressed them. She may not even be entirely aware of them. Great. And then the other two members of the Furies that I've already defined are known as the Gemini twins. The Gemini twins are twin speedsters, Zephyr and Ella. And they're the actual, like, ostensibly their parents are other speedsters who died fighting the Legion of Valor, but they may be demigods as well. We're not entirely sure. But their parents were killed by a supergroup that has disbanded at this point. They've been around. The Legion of Valor was one of the first early supergroups, and it eventually broke up. The Gemini twins, Zephyr and Ella. Let's see. So, yeah, I think, Colby, you became mixed up in some petty scheme that the Gemini twins tried to involve you in. What was that scheme? Like, what was your critical role in this little crime that they attempted?
Well, so one thing about Colby is he does have a bit of an ego that you can play to, a little bit of hubris there, but he also has that enhanced intellect gift to the point where, like, if they needed something read or translated or an arcane artifact activated, like, he's the guy. So I think that they basically tried to convince him to aid in the theft of an ancient artifact, on the idea that it was safer if it was out of the hands of the museum that had it. That doesn't belong in a museum, is what they said. And with the idea that it was something that he could probably make better use of. But in fact, they had always planned on taking it from him. Possibly it was that Pandora's box.
Oh, that sounds good. Let's
make it that.
That's I love how you just kind of worked your way to that. I love it. Cool. So they helped you helped them steal the Pandora's box, which is the secret that. Right, it's the secret. That was the
It's
tangle.
the secret is that I opened it a little bit, just a little
bit. All right. I like that a lot. Good. And then, Zephyr and Ella, one of them has had some kind of relationship with with Allie. What kind of relationship have they had? Is there some kind of friendship, or did you guys team up? Was it one or both of them, Allie? And you're talking mute.
Yeah. So we met because we were doing a sort of public relations thing for a charity. And now we have kind of a weird social media relationship almost entirely, where we go back and forth, and we sort of like, we do sort of classic girl things. We're like cutting each other down. Like she makes fun of my armor because it's obsidian and ribbons and all. And I'm like, well, some people have to keep it simple because it's more slimming, but that's not a concern for me. That kind of thing back and forth.
So there's this kind of frenemy.
Yeah, but it's more like it's our MO to keep like attention on the charity. If that makes any sense. We know each other, and we do sort of enjoy the back and forth, or at least Allie enjoys it. So she hasn't gotten anything like that's too far. And every once in a while she'll message and say if I ever overstep, just saying, I'll edit it and all that stuff. But so that's kind of more back and forth. It's just that they've done PR for a charity. Does that seem reasonable? Is that the kind of thing you were looking for?
I love it.
Okay.
And now, to me, it's kind of shaping the idea that the Furies maybe aren't like an open villain team. They're just antagonists to you guys.
Exactly. They get in our way.
Cool. I like it a lot. All right. Good. Anybody have any open questions about the characters that you feel are unanswered?
Do you have a sense of how these folks first came together? We
should probably establish that. Without the spindle questions is a thing that maybe we should let's modify this. So you guys found yourselves facing insurmountable supernatural odds, like an epic disaster, a monster, an evil demigod, or something. Which pantheon did this insurmountable supernatural foe or challenge or threat did this come from? Which pantheon? Just to define, like to keep it within the pantheons we have defined. We have Greek, we have Norse, and then we also have Hawaiian, Polynesian. Like I don't know what we would call that pantheon specifically.
You've also got voodoo from the Gemini twins.
Oh yes. Which of course the Gemini twins were voodoo back when your character was going to be voodoo, so they may their history may change.
Yeah, let's go Greek. Why not?
Cool. So you faced some Greek-oriented threat. I like that a lot. There was substantial collateral. Actually, let's dig a little bit deeper into that Greek threat. Which Greek monster of mythological renown, Allie, did you guys face? I can give you a list of some if you need.
Yeah, just because I'm blanking out. I didn't.
Cool. No problem. It could be Medusa. It could be the shoot. Oh, I was trying to remember the name of from Clash of the Titans. The name of the sea beast.
The Kraken.
The Kraken. It could be the Kraken because that would be hilarious. It could also be. We don't want to use the Furies because we've got a team name of the Furies. Other monsters.
Hydra.
Yes, thank you. The Hydra is a great one. The Nemean Lion, a Minotaur. Um, any of those sound fun?
How about the Charybdis? It's a sea monster.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, so you guys faced the Charybdis, and I don't know how to pronounce it either. And then we will cycle over. So you guys faced this thing. Danny, there was substantial collateral damage. What got wrecked? And how'd you guys cover it up to look less supernatural in nature?
That's great. Yeah. So maybe Charybdis was coming down from the there a lake nearby New Gauntlet City, because I know we're more Midwest than coastal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's a giant lake. It could be
Yes.
one of the Great Lakes, if that helps.
Sure. A Great Lake, undefined, had this sea monster problem, and it was spilling over into New Gauntlet City. And I think we showed that sea monster what for, but maybe a little bit wrecked the New Gauntlet City docks district in the process. Ships everywhere and warehouses destroyed, and I think we just tried to make it look like it was a normal normal volcanic eruption that had happened in the lake, and all this lava flow had come down into the city, so we hope people bought that.
Okay, I like that. That is awesome. You earned Pillar. You earned. Actually, I already asked. So wait, who has been asked? Allie did a thing. Danny did a thing. Okay, cool. That's why I knew I was missing somebody. Thank you very much, and I apologize. So Colby, you earned the admiration of a major divine being. Who was it, and why were they impressed?
Geez. You know what? I would love it if it was somebody from the official Gauntlet comics, but I'm not sure that there's one we want to roll with.
There's
there.
only real two godlike beings. One is Morgan, who's pretty closely involved, and then not a godlike, but near the same level as Starborn, but also involved with.
Nah, let's skip it. Let's stick to the gods whatnots. Since we're dealing with water, we'll say it was we'll say Triton, because I like Triton. He doesn't get as much love as Poseidon.
Triton is the Titan before, or no, Oceanus was the Titan.
Yeah, Triton should be. I could. Let's double checking myself here. Greek god, messenger of the sea, son of Poseidon, and Amphitrite.
Oh, right. Okay. So he's the kid of Poseidon, but not a demigod.
Kind of the prince of the waters, huh?
Yep.
Which is why he ended up in the Great Lakes. I like it.
Sounds good.
And he actually carries one of the little fork things, the Triton. I like it. Good. So you guys impressed Triton. Very cool. And you ticked off a different divine being having spoiled their plans or fun or whatever. I'll open that up to anyone who has a burning idea. Ariel's dad. That's great. Nice. You're right. Cool. So who did you tick off that evidently wanted Charybdis and volcanoes and ships thrown into the city?
Eris.
Oh yes, the goddess of strife.
I mean, it sounds like her kind of thing to have Charybdis show up in the middle of the freaking Great Lakes.
That's such a chaotic neutral god. Love it. Good. And then, yeah. Does that feel good? Does it feel like you have a really good idea of how the team came together? Everybody comfortable with that?
I buy it.
Awesome. Whoever it was, Loki in disguise. Yeah, it was not Eris. It was Loki. Dun dun dun. Good. We're at a halfway point. Let's go ahead and take our mid-game break. We'll take a nice long one. So we'll take this as a 9-minute break. We'll meet at 20 till. So see you guys in 9 minutes, and we'll jump straight in.
Hello.
I love your drawing of your character here. Did you draw that, or?
Thank you. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's great.
It is. It's really good. I like it. It really comes alive with the color.
Yeah, thank you.
One of the things I will miss on Google Plus is your Masks game updates with your pictures that you've drawn.
Well, if they make those Magpie forums, I'll post stuff there.
Cool. Gauntlet also has a forum, so you're welcome to hop on there as well.
Yeah, I've been doing some stuff in the Gauntlet forum.
Oh, you have? Awesome.
Is it open for? I just don't know if like the intention is for kind of actual play reports to go there necessarily. I don't know. I've seen mostly more like kind of RPG theory discussion, which is fun too.
I'm not entirely sure yet, to be honest. I think it's still evolving. Yeah. And I hope that it's not just theory discussion, because I don't give a shit about theory. I like playing games.
Essentially, you always get a certain amount of that. There's just some people that's their big thing, and that's what they're trying.
Yes, and
actual play is hard work.
Believe it or not, I'm less judgmental about theory wonks than I used to be.
Yeah, exactly. But I get exactly why it looked that way. So love them dearly.
Look here, people.
Listen, there are some people who really enjoy theory discussions, and more power to them. And I'm glad that the internet exists so we all can have our own kind of fun. All right. Pillar, when you found the key to the drawing room in your house, went inside and found a red thread that was laying on the floor, on the carpet, the bright red thread that led away. Who did you tell about the red thread? Who among your team here did you tell about the red thread?
I would let's go with I'll go with Danny. Red, of course, has to be fire related, right?
That totally makes sense. Oh, don't forget, Pillar, you have a third move to take, so sneak that in when you get a chance. Or you can discover it, or you can magically have that move when you most need one of the unchosen artisan moves. But don't forget that that's out there for you. So the two of you found this red thread and started to follow it. So the question I next have is, Colby or Allie, which of the two of you smelled the how best to put this, the bovine smells that suddenly came into the home? Which of the two of you smelled it first?
I think I don't even notice it anymore. I'm so used to organic manure and things like that it doesn't strike me as anything unusual. So
yeah, Neil Darden, the garden guy, probably had you immune to that. So then it means that Colby, you smelled the cowish smells,
the fecal matter.
Yeah, as it were.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. So Allie, where in the garden are you when the Minotaur bursts through the back door?
I think that I'm in the raspberry brambles because I've been trying to pick enough so I can make pie for the evening. Yeah, so I've got like a big bowl of raspberries.
Awesome. You have a big, like I'm imagining like a brass metal kind of bowl of raspberries, and you're coming back, and we see the verdant garden there. We'll say that it's autumn, This is perfect time for raspberry picking. When a minotaur bursts through the back door, stands, we'll say he, even though he is wearing a loincloth and like a little like leather bandolier type deal, and he's got a big axe that's at his side. And he looks around, he snuffs the air, and he just knocked down the door. And then he runs to the right around the house and leaps over a fence. That is when is it Colby or is it Pillar who comes around? I think Colby, you discover the smell, so it's you. You come around. Did you know that it was a minotaur?
No, I thought Allie had brought some kind of strange fertilizer into the house again.
Well, there's some fertilizer that did you? Yeah, it's right there on your shoe.
What? You keep this in the garden. We talked about this. It doesn't go in the house.
Yeah, and I think you see she's over there by one of those like really cute little garden benches that has like all the trellises around it and all that stuff. And she has a bowl and her eyes are really wide and she's looking over the wall and she sort of sets the bowl down and she goes, "That wasn't me. There was a minotaur and it went that way."
That's when we hear crash. Bam, 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 bam. Pillar and Danny, you guys follow the red thread and come out right up right behind Colby, and you see that he's got a poop covered sheet.
Whoa.
We better catch up to that thing. All right.
What thing?
Apparently, I'm standing in minotaur poo.
Sorry, dude.
Colby, why would you do that? You should stand beside it. Most people do not like the smell.
Nice. Like, there's a whole lot of Colby just. Yep, that's a good point. Let's
Here, I can help you wash that off.
No.
And he's like summoning like a little like orb of lava in his hands.
You burn it off. Yeah.
Please do not set the highly flammable poop on my shoe on fire.
Okay, dude.
Let's go catch the minotaur.
Your call. You want to just keep that there? I'm not going to judge.
I'm sure it's useful for some kind of spell or something.
Okay, I have a super important question.
Yes.
Do you guys have transformation sequences? Would you go from normal girl or normal boy to demigod? Because I think Allie does.
I think Allie needs it. I think everyone needs it, but I think unfortunately, like Pillar. No, you have some kind of transformation sequence. You must imagine what it is about Pillar that changes. So
His forehead gets.
Lead us off, Allie. What is your transformation sequence like?
Oh, I think she takes off her garden gloves and she's walking, and as she does, the first thing you see are like.
Oh wait, does she have like the big straw hat? Can she still have like one of?
Sure.
Okay,
She's wearing that, and you start to see like, at first they're sort of transparent, but you start seeing these ribbons, transparent ribbons starting to form, and then they get more and more solid, and then her armor coalesces, and what she was wearing just kind of falls away. And so she has this sort of black armor with, and I mean, like fuchsia and yellow ribbons. They really have the sense of like flowers in a field. And then that black is just like they stand out so brightly on that stark, matte obsidian armor.
That is super dope. I love it. Sweet. And then what is it that once you transformed? How do you travel? Like, do you go around to the gate, the outside? Do you actually jump over, or what does it look like?
I assume that she essentially she's sort of, her diamond scepter kind of appears ahead of her, and she's sort of like goes right to that, like magically appears by that, and then she starts running.
Nice.
So
Cool. What does Danny's transformation look like?
Yeah, I think he does a haka spirit yell, and his arms that are normally untattooed suddenly have those fiery markings on them, and his eyes kind of glow with a volcanic energy as well, and he takes a running jump, and this obsidian lava shark appears for him to land on.
Oh, can it like can like during your transformation, clever eyes can see the fin that's like, moving through the grass?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And they like jumps up and you jump onto it, and then does it like do you fly around on it?
I think it's more that like everywhere it goes, like it's kind of creating this sort of superheated channel where it goes, and so like the air is kind of shimmering and the ground is melting a little bit, and we're kind of swimming through that heat basically.
Wow, that is amazing. So where do these demigods come from? I don't know, but we can follow the lava trail. I don't know. It's like, how did Iceman ever get away with anything? I don't know. That is amazing. Colby, what is your transformation? Or I imagine that if I remember correctly, you were the guy who doesn't have a super suit. But let's see.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it anyway. For one thing, I forgot about Lazarus the Mouse in a lot of my earlier things. So we'll say there's the anime thing where the entire background gold and sparkly, and for a moment he's a silhouette, and he reaches into one hand pocket and holds out a hand, and there's like sparkles around, and there's a little mouse that runs up his shoulder, and then he holds out another hand and he puts it in his pocket and pulls out a cigarette, lights it, and then just starts walking.
I love it. Lazarus can speak, right?
If he is allowed to, then he can.
Okay, he can speak. I don't know if I could do a Lazarus voice, so I may have to ask you to voice Lazarus, but he needs to speak. Good. And then finally, like our panel focuses on Pillar. Well, that is a great question. We'll have to define that in a minute. Pillar, what is your transformation sequence?
Oh yeah, so I'm glad you gave me some time to think about this. So I think, of course, the background goes all anime, and maybe just the camera zooms around him, and he's kind of just this giant stone creature, just trying to do like sweet like dance moves, but not very good at it. And then to show his kind of power, maybe there's just like a dryer, and is there suddenly, and he just hugs it. He's like, oh. And then maybe it zooms in on him, and he just he can't wink naturally, so he has to like push his eye down and then push it back up to wink, and then it goes back.
That is fantastic. So I believe that Allie and Danny are the two who are traveling the fastest and will be in the lead. As you lava your way out and run your way out to the street here in front of your house here in Gate District, you see that the Minotaur is currently charging a fiery red FTD florist van, and the Minotaur's like dropped his head because he thinks, angry red. Of course, we all know that bulls are colorblind, but we didn't know the Minotaurs are evidently not, because this red has enraged this Minotaur. And I defy you to show me a scientific study that says they are also colorblind. You can't. So this Minotaur is charging an FTD florist van. So I will ask first, Danny, what do you do? Oh, it's being driven, by the way. And the person behind the wheel is like,
Oh man, we gotta help this dude. I'm gonna summon up a bigger lava wave. Uh, just kind of trying not to burn up all the cars along the way, but if like a parked car gets burned up, that's fine. The key thing is we're gonna use this wave to uh, smash into this minotaur and keep him from hurting the dude in the florist van.
Sweet. So are you imagining that you're trying to smite your enemies here using your element as color, or are you actually trying to pull the world down around your ears?
Oh, I don't think we're quite at cataclysm level yet.
Okay,
I think,
just check it in. Didn't think you were, but I wanted to, make the offer if that's
yeah, I think this is like this is Danny's mo, smiting people with a lava wave, and he's pretty confident that it's going to work on this minotaur just fine.
I'm sure you're probably right. Let's jump to roll for your party. You're rolling plus prowess.
Okay, so I rolled doubles, so I rolled
Great.
2 4s, and I mark a thread for that.
That's right. You get an XP, which is called a thread in this game, every time you roll doubles.
Because my prowess is 2, that's up to a 10.
Fantastic. So when you smite your enemies and you roll a 10 plus, you'll be wading into the fight. Trading harm is optional here because if your enemy has no way to strike back, then the exchange just means the enemy takes harm. On a 10 plus, you choose 3 from the list below. Do you have that list with you?
I just pulled it up. Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm gonna exchange harm. I'm gonna make an opening for an ally, which I'm picturing might just be that the minotaur has been hit by a wave of lava and is so mostly focused on that, and so anyone else has like he's more distracted if anyone else is going for him.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Make an opening for an ally.
And probably take something from your enemy. Can you describe again what was the minotaur holding stuff that I would want to take?
Oh, he does have an axe on a loop by his little belt.
Yeah. I think Danny's like, Mono, go for the axe, and the shark just kind of like clumsily, bites onto the axe with his jaws and tries to pull away from the minotaur.
Okay, sounds good. Good. So you snatch away the axe. You bring up enough lava to give an opportunity to your enemy. I think that the minotaur stumbles a little bit, falls to one knee, and he's going to get back up and try to charge. Meanwhile, FTT Florist guy has enough presence of mind to where he is stopped and is now trying desperately to throw it into reverse. Allie, you have an opportunity here, and I'll go ahead and give you the ability to roll with Fate's favor here. And what that means is you get to roll 3d6 and pick the best.
And Rich, you're saying I kind of blindsided the minotaur enough I don't take harm from him on this?
Correct.
Change?
Yes. Gotcha. Sorry. Thank you for that asking for that clarification. But yeah, he was wholly focused on the van, and that's why he hasn't attacked you back. But Fate's favor.
Take that, bull dude.
Cool. So whatever you want to do here, because you have fortunes or Fate's favor, Allie, you'll get to roll 3d6 and keep the best 2. What would you like to do? You are talking on mute.
All right. So this sounds a little weird, but I think I would actually like to. She was all set to like get into like a fight or whatever, but she sees the wave of lava, and I think she does her horror reaction. It's like, and then she goes and she actually grabs some of the ribbons off of her sleeve, and I think she wants to blindfold the minotaur just to bring him to a halt. and see if there's some way that we can communicate with him or pull him out of this situation because he's reacting really, really strangely. I mean, I know he might be a monster, but he may not be.
That's right. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Exactly.
I think you need to perform under pressure.
All
Roll
right.
plus metal.
Okay, and I think I have a 2 in that.
You are metal-tastic. I didn't even realize
Yeah,
that.
and I
Roll 3d6.
okay.
Keep the best 2, and then add your 2 metal to it.
Okay. So I thought I did another one. Okay, so I'm going to try to do it another. Geez, Sherry. Okay. 1. Submit. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. So now I'm going to roll those 3. So I got 10 plus 2 is 12.
Fantastic. Okay, so on a 10 plus, you get it done, no problems. You come up with your lovely ribbons. Those were the pink ribbons?
Yes, I'd say that the fuchsia is probably
Fuchsia, sorry. Yes, I see it now that I went to the larger picture. Fuchsia ribbons around the Minotaur's eyes. I guess you had to knot a couple of them because he's got a big old honking cow head. But yeah, you blind him. And that will kind of stop the charge there as he looks. He reaches for his axe, which is gone because a shark has it in his mouth. And then he's going to start grasping and trying to rip at the ribbons. But I imagine that they are somewhat magical, and so it won't be an immediately easy thing. I think you are creating some collateral damage by destroying the street. Yeah, I think that's fair. Go ahead and mark a thread for that. Thread? Thread? Yes, thread. I used the right word. Yay, me. So, Pillar. After your transformation sequence, hugging of various equipment in the house, I think you're the first because Colby, being Joe Cool, is walking. You're the next to come up to this sequence, and you see that the Minotaur is somehow blindfolded with some of the ribbons that you've seen in Allie's armor. And someone else has destroyed the street, and there's like lava. Not sure who did that. And then of course the Minotaur threat. What do you do, Pillar?
I think I might do the follow up here and just kind of put his hands out to kind of brace and just like try to figure out what the deal with this Minotaur is. Like maybe see where he's going. Maybe he'll just like, cow friend, please calm down. No need to poop and run around. So I think I'm aiming to read a person, I think, but
okay. You're trying to read the weave is the move, as it's called. Good. Right. So you're trying to understand it by talking to him. So read the weave. You roll 2d6 plus judgment to see past the surface of things and analyze a person, place, or thing. And then there are some questions assigned to read a person, which is what we will call this Minotaur, because to call them a thing would be disrespectful. Let's go ahead and roll 2d6 plus judgment. Your judgment is very strong. Holy crap! I didn't realize you had a 2 judgment. We do have a roll for your party. I don't know if I.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I got a 10.
Nice. So on read the weave on a 10 plus, you get to ask 3 questions from the appropriate list. You want me to drop that into chat, or do you have access to that?
I've got it. As I was waiting for my video to come up, I prepared everything else. So
there we go.
Let's see. I'm going to go with the first one seems appropriate. Where did this person come from?
Oh, cool. He came from a labyrinth in ancient Greece.
That does make sense.
You get 3. Do you have any other questions you want to ask right now? You can always pepper them in later if you don't have one off the top of your head.
Oh my God, how did I miss this one? I got to ask before. What would make this person like me?
What would minotaur like you? You fed it, I think. It looks as you look at it, you see that for as big and muscular as it is not as beefy as you would imagine a minotaur would be. You see its ribs a little bit there, and you can actually see the form of its hips a little bit. So it would like you for food.
And I guess I'll go with the other. Why'd this person just, I guess, trumps through our area?
Oh, great! It was following the thread, and somehow gotten ahead of you guys. Cool. Good. So you got your questions. You gonna know what's going on. You feel free to verbalize if you wish. Otherwise, you can keep it to yourself, and we'll pop over to Colby. Is there anything you say to the team, Pillar?
Yeah, I think I might kind of say that, like, oh, you're just hungry, aren't you? I mean, just have a seat and we can get you some sandwiches. I think we have plenty in the garden.
Nice. It's still busily kind of trying to rip at the ribbons, and it hasn't quite registered what's going on. Colby, you hear Pillar's explanation. You've seen this minotaur. What do you do?
I basically say very similar things that Pillar said, only I say them in Minotaur. I like, old friend. Moo 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 moo. So yeah, I want to get the Minotaur to calm down so we can get at the food and
cool. How is it
back where it
that
goes.
you speak Minotaur? Do you think that's a spell casting thing?
Well, I think it's because I have divine freaking intellect, frankly. But I'm happy to do it as a spell instead.
Man, good thing we brought the cow whisperer.
You know what?
A little bit of rivalry between the two of you, and it's delightful.
I would actually kind of rather it was a spell.
Me too. You get once per session, you get a thread for casting a spell. So that's why I was kind of angling that way. Let's do it.
That's so. I also have the sympathetic component of Minotaur poo to use as a casting.
I didn't even know I was giving that to you, but
my material component. Yeah. So you want me to do that as a spell casting maneuver?
Yeah, let's do that. Roll 2d6 plus weird.
All right, and I got a 7.
Awesome.
So I gotta
on a
take
7 to 9,
some kind of
pick one effect, and I imagine the effect you're looking for here is reveal a secret, right? The Minotaur tongue. What's the cost? And I'm okay if you just want to go with short duration, since you just say a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll just do short duration on that then.
Awesome. So you say, again, now that I know that you're mooing it out, what are the words you're communicating?
I'm saying, I start with the hold friend thing that Pillar said. Hold friend. We realize that it's a crazy new labyrinth here and things are a little out of control. If you'll just wait a moment, we'll get you some food, we'll get you reacquainted, and we'll get you right back where you belong.
That is such a cool spell. I don't want to tie that to sway someone. I think it just, because you're acting on the other read from Pillar, that it turns and you can't see. It's like cow-like eyes because it's still hidden behind the ribbon, but it's little. There's nothing about this Minotaur. It's little. Its ears kind of droop a little bit, and it makes this like hungry sound. I don't even know if that's a cow-like sound, but these Minotaurs, they sound slightly like cows and occasionally like whatever Rich thought of. And its shoulders droop down a little bit, and it will say back to you, "Where food?"
we'll head back to the garden. There's plenty there. And I'm sure Allie won't mind whatever you eat. Moo, 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 moo.
Cool. Tromp. FTD van is like pulled a 180. One of those, I can't remember what you call them, like the thing where you like zip out and it's taking off the other way. People are coming out and like looking at what's going on in the road because there's like this weird lava flow and the asphalt's ripped up. And there's this guy who's wearing one of those like boat hats, and he was spraying his front lawn, and he screams and goes, "You people! How am I supposed to get to work? Fix the road!"
That's right, Danny. You messed up another road. If you'd just taken the time to think things out, if you'd taken the time to look ahead, Danny, this wouldn't have been a problem. Can you fix the road for them, Danny? Can you do that?
I can totally fix the road for them, man. You don't need to. You can chill out about it.
I'm just saying. I'm chill. I'm chill, but things can get out of hand. You're very
I'm not
impulsive.
chill. There's lava on the road.
Hey, it's a misperception that lava is only destructive. There wouldn't be any new land if we didn't have lava.
I don't want new land. I want asphalt.
All right. We'll get some lava to pave this road again. Don't worry about it.
Get me driving on igneous rock here.
Technically, scrolling through my lava facts.
You're about to well actually. Oh, don't well actually, Mr. Hooper. He will have a conniption fit.
That's the great thing about hanging out with Danny is that I can always go ahead and chastise recklessness for another point.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm gonna say, technically, Pahoho lava is, just smooth. Like, it's gonna be better to drive on than the asphalt in the end. You should be thanking us for making these roads, more.
Don't drag me into this.
Yeah, we'll see. Tell my real estate agent. Don't wonder why the houses was so cheap here. He stomps back. Cool. So the Minotaur is now slowly walking, and
I'll catch his hand and lead him back, pick the ribbons when he's done with them.
Cool. He pulled the ribbon up over one eye, and he has your hand. He's walking kind of daintily back towards, and then as soon as he gets into your backyard, he's going to start eating a whole lot of stuff.
Okay, that's fine. It's what it's for. She'll pick it for him. Just have him sit down.
Okay,
I'll
do
give him
that.
raspberries, though. But she'll bring him all the zucchini he can stomach. And I think the squash is coming in. So there's all of that. And, and the last lettuces. And does he eat anything else? I mean, does he want anything else?
Oh,
he didn't have sandwiches. Does he want some meat sandwiches?
Ooh.
I mean, is he a vegetarian? Or is he a carnivore?
Oh my! The puns that are happening in our chat. It's delightful and also painful, which is the perfect puns. I think he would eat meat, but he's an omnivore, but generally vegetarian. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, he will not turn down a meat sandwich. He does not speak English.
All right.
But I think eventually he's got now like a ribbon headband going on. And he's pretty chill now that you fed him zucchini squash and some kind of sandwich, which he just throws it in his big cow mouth. Like, he does not, like, cucumber sandwich is not going to happen. Pillar, what are you doing?
I've got an idea. I want to maybe test out how these powers work.
Mhm.
I was thinking I have an idea of how to fix this road if we're still dealing with that.
I would love to see an artisan fix the road.
Yeah, so feel free to veto when you want to. But I'm thinking that one of the gifts he has is this divine intellect, which maybe I'm straying too much, but I think as how I'm interpreting this is that he kind of just as like almost a tool himself, he can kind of communicate with these objects. And I think he's going to get down on his knees and kind of just talk to this road, and he's going to try and remake it and just be like, okay, I understand it's got very hot. My friend did not mean to do that, road, but we need to get you back to where you are. If you can cooperate and just smooth out so that cars can go on you again, then this friend who lives near you, is very upset, and I think that between us, we can help, make you what you once were.
I like it. So I feel like you're trying to bend fate, which is using your gift in a new or different way and pushing it beyond what it can normally do, or do something really strange. I'm going to go with strange. Talking the road into healing itself, pretty strange. Love the idea. This is also the perfect opportunity to allow for someone to help you out. And let me double check. I think that is provided, but let's double check. Yep.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited to help out, see if I can, provide some, if the road needs some new material, we can get some cooled lava to fill in the gaps,
I've heard that it's smoother than actual asphalt. Go ahead and we know how you're helping. Roll 2d6 plus the number of tangles you have to boost Pillar's roll.
Maybe that's one tangle. I got an 8.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, you're giving them a +1 on their roll.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Go ahead and roll 2d6 plus weird. Your weird is 0, but you get a +1 from the help.
Yeah, I got a 10. Rolling pretty good.
I like it.
+1 certainly helps.
I sure did. So, on a 10 plus for Bend Fate, you choose 2 boons and no banes. And these are a little weird, but you definitely have pushed the gift beyond its normal limits with that. But you can get a secondary boon whenever you would like, as a whatever you'd like.
Yeah, maybe I'll give a Fate's Favor to someone.
Cool. Okay. So that'll be Fate's Favor to someone. Who would you like to give Fate's Favor to?
Yeah, who's is it Allie specifically dealing with my Minotaur friend at the moment?
Seems like it.
Yeah, trying to reconcile this fictionally, but maybe I don't know.
Magic.
Anyone has suggestions, but I'll come back to that.
Cool. So that's I'm good with it. You forced your favor out there. You did some beneficial magic and caused good things. So,
and just so I can describe my element in wonder.
Yeah, please do it.
Yeah. I think Danny, as the road goes down and he's kind of filled in, any bits of it that need to be filled in with this nice, shiny black volcanic material. He kind of goes down and runs his hand over it, and he's like, "Look at that. That is smooth as silk. I don't know why everybody doesn't insist on only driving on lava roads."
No traction. It's pretty soon we've seen Mr. Hooper sliding and everything. I hate this new road. Good deal. So, Allie, you're dealing with a Minotaur. You're currently making some kind of sandwich as he's eating. Colby, what are you doing while Pillar and Danny are outside fixing the street as you told them to?
You said Danny, right?
I say Danny, I meant Colby. I apologize. Danny and Pillar are out front working on the road. Colby, what are you doing?
Apparently there's a mysterious red thread.
Nice.
I presumably one end goes into a labyrinth. So I want to investigate this thread.
Oh, well, that sounds like a thing that would be a good idea. Investigating some kind of mystery. Yeah. Cool. So you start to follow the red thread, and it goes through a couple of rooms. These are the same rooms that we saw a few panels in our comic of Danny following it through with Pillar. Like, you're picking it up. It like goes over all kinds of things. It goes through your room. Actually, Colby, what does your room look like, Colby?
So Colby's room is oddly enough a mess. So Colby does a lot of research and then just shoves papers in random places, and he takes things back from wherever he's visiting. So there's like a thing that's just various snow globes and shot skis and whatever, and he doesn't really care about them. He just puts them all on the shelf. So it's just an unholy mess. Eventually, he gets the spells down into his spell book, which is actually a small black book he carries with him. But all the research crap is all over the place.
So I imagine the red thread at one point actually goes, like, there's a book closed on it, and the thread goes through almost like it were some kind of bookmark. Circles, goes around one of your bedposts, and then goes into a closet. Continue following it into the closet and find out that closet evidently allows you to go into Allie's room.
So I think there's a certain point where I'm going to have to just read the weave on the thread.
Wow.
The artifact is just going to go on forever.
Cool. So roll 2d6 plus judgment.
Well, I'm no pillar, but I get by, so we'll see how that goes. I have a +1 on judgment.
You do. And of course, if someone wanted to give you fate's favor, they could, but they could also not.
I got an 11.
Don't need it. Awesome. So on an 11, I think you are reading.
Yep.
An artifact?
So, yeah, there's reading an artifact. I get 3 questions from that list. I think I'm going to ask where it came from.
This is the red thread of myth.
Ariadne's thread.
Ariadne had used to escape from the labyrinth, and that is where it came from.
All right. How does it factor into our weave?
The thread factors into your weave because it leads to an undiscovered secret.
Fair enough. So I know what the artifact was used for in the labyrinth, but it's not being used for that here.
Correct.
So I will say, what is this artifact being used for?
It is being used to draw you to someone.
All right.
It was purposely placed out to draw you to them.
Fair enough. I think this is about the time when I have to go and reconnect with my comrades there.
Okay, cool. I'm imagining that. Well, who's cleaning the poo out of the kitchen? Because I imagine the kitchen like leads to the backyard type deal, or maybe there's a mud room of some kind or something. But who's cleaning up the poo?
That's valuable stuff. We'll put it in the compost pile. No big deal. So can I talk to them? Like I can talk to animals? Can I kind of pigeon, talk, or, kind of between the two of us and some pantomime kind of converse with them? Get a sense of why he came out?
Yeah.
Does he want to stay? Does he want to go back?
I'm just looking through, like, is this a thing that the talking to animals, is that a gift that you have, or is that
No,
what
it didn't seem to be a gift. It seems to be like intrinsic, I think.
Oh,
They have
okay.
things where like I can talk to animals, like I can interview them. I don't know if that's a power, but it does kind of seem that you, one of my things is did you speak to animal or plants this session? So
Oh, neat. Okay, cool. Yeah. I wasn't trying to make it. I
no,
wasn't trying to say no as much as just understand.
yeah, I'm trying to understand too.
I haven't seen a verdant in play, so
Okay.
this is a little new for me, and I love it. So yes, you guys can work out a little bit of a pigeon. His answer is hungry. You ask him if he wants to go home. He's just this like cowish, like head side to side, head waggle thing of food here.
Yeah.
Food here.
You can. It's just like you can stay here. You can eat here. And you could guard the house. Would you do that?
Need axe.
Oh yeah, we can get that. It's just sharks chewing on it right now.
The shark I see is like, some kind of puppy, just
it's rolling around in the garden on the.
tosses it up a little bit and then gnaws on it with this rows of sharp obsidian teeth.
Can there be a little like water feature in the garden, but instead of water, it's lava, and that's kind of where the shark, rests and relaxes when he's not being called on.
There is definitely a water feature that is a lava feature. Yes, it's made from very smooth
It's also
lava rock.
barbecue on.
Yes, it's the grill. That is great. Good. So these emaciated, the emaciated minotaur who calls itself Agalada, and I will update it into the NPCs and places. But Agalada, the minotaur, will happily hang out here and eat you out of garden and home.
Okay. Hey, we get quality compost and a house guard. Not a bad deal.
So you come back out, Colby. You see the poo's been cleaned, pillars here, and Danny's come back. The two of them have fixed the road.
Good. Road is taken care of, and get off our case.
Look, I wouldn't have had to if you hadn't messed it up in the first place, but we don't need to worry about that now. I was following the thread that drew the Minotaur here. We should really get him back in that maze, by the way. And it looks like someone's specifically trying to draw us in. So I'm thinking it's probably a trap, which means it's probably some kind of jerk god, which means it's probably unavoidable.
Wait, you're saying we should walk into the trap?
Well, I mean, that's how you find out what it is, but otherwise we can just sit there with the Ariadne's thread leading things through our house forever. All right, let me explain how magic works a little bit. There's this thing called narrative causality where you have established understandings that repeat throughout history. Those understandings reinforce ley lines, they reinforce kind of psychological lines, and they reinforce magical lines that just draw you in. To force against them is possible, but if you go with the flow, it's more easy to guide the direction of things going forward. So you follow the thread, you can affect its direction. You try to ignore the thread, it strangles you. That's kind of the layman's version.
All right. I can get behind that. Going with the flow is kind of my deal.
You're muted.
She goes, well, all I know is I offered the Minotaur a job as the door guard, and I suggest we take that string and we pull as hard as we can.
Wait, what? Why do we need a door guard?
Because because we do. We're not always going to be here.
Who's
And
gonna feed it? And I still have poop on my shoe.
well, clean your shoe. Don't be a big baby. Anyway, we don't have to go to the trap. Can't we pull the thread to us?
It's the opposite of going to the flow, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Seems like we could set it up so if we pulled something up, kind of like fishing, we could at least set the arena for ourselves. But, you know, I'm not a big old magic expert or anything, so I could be completely wrong.
Well, I don't know anything about fishing, so
Danny knows about fishing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sometimes a little slow for me, though.
Have you tried talking to the string itself? Maybe it can tell us how it's used.
I don't have that gift, buddy. You go right for it, though. I did not wake up today thinking I would get the chance to see a rock talk to a string, but my day will be complete if I get to see that.
Yeah, you got this, Pillar. I know you can talk to that string.
I talk to strings all the time. I'm glad that I could get to talk to a red one today.
It is the best color.
I think you're trying to use Deus Ex Machine.
Yeah.
Do it.
Ooh, no. Ooh, still with my +2, I got a 5.
With your +2, you got a 5.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, guys, I haven't seen this except for the once, but always keep in mind this game's a little different from other PBTA games in that you get XP when you roll doubles, even if you fail. So if you roll 2 2s, snake eyes, anything like that, that gets you an XP. And at the end of the game, if you haven't talked about being epic, I think there are quite a few epic opportunities, and we'll deal with that at the end. But when you fail a roll, some of you actually get XP, and so you get an XP for failing a roll, Artisan, because you get to learn cool stuff. There is nothing defined in the miss, which means I get to make a reaction or move. I have Herald moves. And I think... Oh, good question. There was out there. You could have given someone Fate's favor. You could have given it to yourself if you want to use that up because it's there.
Use it.
I will allow it.
Yeah, I might as well.
No, take the miss. You get an XP for it.
It's true. It's up to you.
That is true.
Can you just hold on to the Fate's favor for another roll?
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah, I'll see what happens with the miss.
Okay, cool. Good. So I am going to say that sorry, I'm looking over the Herald moves here to see what best works. I'm going to say that the red thread, as you try to talk to it, it starts moving, like slips out of your big stone fingers, and like somebody sucking a spaghetti noodle up in Lady and the Tramp. The thread starts snaking away like someone is yanking it from the other side, and it will disappear very soon. What do you do?
I think he looks at the others and just like, oh, that one's shy. I think he starts bounding after it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Looks like Pillar is going after the retreating thread.
Right
Danny.
behind you, Pillar.
All right. Danny's right behind. Are you sharkifying or just running?
I think just
in the
running
house.
for now. We're inside
Okay,
our
good.
own house.
Yeah. There's probably been, I imagine there's like a call out panel of some conversation that someone had with you about this no shark in the house kind of deal. Maybe there was a counter argument about the mouse gets to come in the house, but maybe that's just my headcanon. Allie, you see the two boys charging away, heading deeper into the yelling that the red thread is shy. What do you do?
I sigh. If we just grabbed it and tugged, we would have been fine.
And then what about you, Colby?
That depends. My portals take me about a minute to open, but I already know fairly far into the journey of where the thread's going. So if I can port there faster than I can walk there or run there, then that's what I do.
Ooh, neat. I want to see you port.
All right.
Because it's a fun thing.
Yeah. All right, so that is plus weird, and I have a spell book, so I actually get an additional plus. And so I will roll it first, and then we'll see how that goes. That is an 11.
Wow, on a 10 plus, you slice through reality with precision and can see to the other side of your portal. So you look through and see the thread slipping away. Like you see the movement, but you haven't seen the edge of the thread or the end of the thread as it zips by. You can step through and grab hold of it if you wish.
I am going to do that. So to describe that real quick, there's so the portal is described as kind of noisy. It says a noisy gateway. So in his particular case, he's a Norse pantheon kind of guy. So I think he actually has makes like a chopping motion. It's almost as if he is actually holding a sword, and reality kind of flaps like loose canvas for a moment. And there's a sound as if there's like a gust of powerful wind blowing there, and actually pushes back on his hair. It's very dramatic looking, and he cuts through, and then he's going to immediately try to grab the thread.
Cool. Yeah, you're able to jump in. It's just a thread, and you grab hold of it, and there's a bit of a tug, and it continues the pressure. Like whatever's on the other side of pulling it hasn't given up, but it is a thread, and it feels as if they don't really want to yank so hard that it could destroy the thread. The rest of you come running through. You come into Allie's room where Colby is standing there holding the red thread. Allie, what does your room look like?
That's a fine question. I think it's full of memorabilia, like from her time with her dad. So it's got like, vanity in the mirror, and then it's got like pictures of her and her dad at all these places that they've gone to. And
where does he take her? Does he take her to places in the mortal realm, or are these all places that have fallen?
No. Her human dad has taken her all over the world.
Oh, this is human dad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
They've gone to Peru to find the staples that were there, like how people eat naturally, like their gardens and how things have been farmed through history. So she's done like the whole world history of agriculture. Understand that is entirely how she was raised. So she's got all of those pictures. And then she's also got a set that are, you can only describe best as sort of blurry. They're all in black and white. And, you can kind of make out a face. But to Allie, I mean, she knows that's her stepdad and her mom standing next to, it's like her other parents there, her mom and stepdad. So she can see those pictures too. But if you were to just look at it, it'd be kind of a blurry black and white. So if that makes any sense. And and then otherwise it's sort of a girl's room. It's, millennial pink walls, a wardrobe that stands out from the ground, and it's open, and like the clothes are on display. It's like not the ones she wears, they're just the ones that look awesome. And then in her drawers are the clothes that she actually wears.
Okay, cool. So you guys all see Colby. He's there. The portal's still open. I imagine, and he's holding the red thread. You saw the bit in the chat. That's good.
So Colby is being an arrogant jerk about it. He's like, I took the shortcut.
To my room?
Apparently.
Okay. So, can we pull it back?
And I'm just going to say that it's going into your wardrobe.
Really?
I'm a sucker.
Oh, wait. Let me get that. I don't want you guys stomping all over my Prada. Okay, here. So,
Oh, so when it's your clothes, we worry about them. I see. Yeah.
yes, we do. All right. So, if she looks back in the wardrobe, can you see anything, or is it just blackness?
Just blackness.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing suspicious at all. Are we going, or are we going to try to pull them back?
I don't think pulling it's going to work. But you're the fish fashion nature. Whatever.
Let's try a tug, see what happens.
Never mind.
Wait, what? She looks highly annoyed. Like, okay.
Danny just like blushes crimson and mutters something and like scratches his head.
Cool.
So, I guess
Gets the
I'll grab
tug.
the thread and try, yeah.
Okay, cool. You pull on the thread. There's some resistance. Do you want to try to pull harder and win this tug of war?
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, they're trying to lead us here, so we're essentially giving them the counter offer, so to speak.
It goes taut. You can see it. It's a very straight line. Allie pulls a little bit harder, and then eventually it goes completely slack.
Ah, they let go, huh?
Well, that or you're broken.
Really?
One of the two.
Broke Ariadne's thread.
It's not a good thing.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's how you get out of the labyrinth. Generally it's a You know what, let's just follow what's left. Let's do that.
Okay.
Going into the wardrobe?
That's so weird.
Into the forest of Prada.
That would be cool.
You guys, is that magic? Who is it? Pillar, are you last? I kind of imagine because you're so big, maybe you don't want to take up the space. Does that feel about right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Awesome.
He's like, Allie, why do you store your clothes in a labyrinth? Seems inefficient.
You're right. I'll have to find a better way to store them.
Colby leads the way. Danny is next in line. The four of you step into the wardrobe, and not all four of you fit. So it's like one person is in the wardrobe, the next person steps in, and then they seem to disappear. And we stick with Pillar. As Pillar, you step 1 foot into the wardrobe, you feel the wooden bottom. The next step is into pitch black darkness, and you step onto stone. And then there's a change in your senses, and you see that there is a very, very dim and distant firelight. You are standing beside Allie. The two of you are in a hewn stone corridor, and Colby and Danny are nowhere to be seen. And at your feet is the other broken piece of the red thread, and it snakes down the corridor. And that is where we will end tonight's session. Good. So there is XP for being epic. Yes, that is exactly where you got trapped. But we'll figure it out. So let's see. Double checking our threads to see if there's anything you guys did that we didn't mark. You talked with a plant or animal alley, so click that one for a thread.
Okay.
You think you shared too much information at any point?
I was going to suggest that inviting the Minotaur to stay on permanently as a guard in our perfectly normal city is...
Yeah.
I feel like there's a thematic.
I think so. Let's do that. Mark for that.
Okay.
Sounds good. Any other once per sessions out there? Do you guys think should happen? All right, and I think all 4 of you were suitably epic, so I'll give everyone a thread for that one. Maybe some folks may be near an advance there. No, Danny was. Oh, did you get it, Danny?
Yeah, right. That's an advance for me.
Cool. Threads on line 23, and I believe Pillar has 3. Colby, you have 5, and Allie has 3. So I know that 2 of you are unable to make it next week. Danny and Colby, you guys will have a move or an advance that you can take. The advances listed for your playbook start on line 71. You got some time to think that over. Let's see. Is there any end of session stuff? I don't think there is, but I always like to double check. No. There is no end of session things there in there. Anything for your individual playbooks? I don't think so. No, everything's pretty in the moment for moves for this game. Awesome. If you guys have a few minutes, I'd love to do a bit of our feedback. We've got 12 minutes before a scheduled end of the game, so hopefully we can get through most of that. As you guys know, feedback, I like to use roses and thorns. There are many other ways of doing that, but that's the one that I'm used to, so as well stick with. We start with thorns, so we can end with roses. Thorns are anything about the game that you felt was confusing, missed opportunities, or something that you wish had happened but didn't, so that I can try to key in on that and try to make it come true. I'll make your wishes come true, friends, and it won't cost $200 every day. I'm just special that way. That was a Disney joke, in case you weren't aware. And after Star Wars comes in, I think it's going to be like $300 freaking a day. So that makes me super sad. But that doesn't matter, because now we're talking about thorns. Jason, would you like to go first in thorns?
Sure. So there's some mechanical stuff that we talked about before with spellcasting that is slightly wonky. Notably, like we were talking before about how one of the effects is cast the spell instantly, but that doesn't make any sense if you only get one effect. But there's also a cost, which is that something takes longer than normal. So it's very fuzzily defined there. And in the same kind of vein with the arcane book, the counter spell is kind of an interesting move because it pushes the GM to have some kind of ongoing magical effect to be countered, or to encounter someone else who does spells in order for it to make any sense. Whereas a lot of the other moves are not as reliant upon the fiction. So it's just kind of gross mechanical complaints.
Those are fair. Thank you very much for sharing them in specificity. Jason, did you have anything else you want to thorn?
No, pretty happy for the most part.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. Who would like to go next? Sherry.
Are we?
The camera's focused on you, so you get to do some.
Oh, well, there we go. One of the things is that the verdant stuff, like, really is built around, like, talking to animals and plants, which means that you're obligated to provide those for me to talk to. And I also find it weird in the sense of for a demigod, because gods don't, I mean, yes, Zeus would turn into an animal to, get on with people, but but for the most part, the deities have nature purview. So they would do regeneration things, growth cycles, they could make things grow, and move them around. But it's sort of very, very specifically like being an animal or being like a plant, as opposed to controlling animals and plants or seasons or ideas about Mother Nature or nature. So that's an interesting set of choices for the moves. I think with a little rewording or something, you could have it read more in a standard nature purview. It's just my take on it. But otherwise, I'm just saying I need plants and animals to talk to.
Oh, I had a Minotaur. I'll have more.
Yes.
I'll keep it up.
It was kind of you to treat that as an animal, because I wasn't sure if it was somewhere in between. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Sherry.
Okay.
David or Alexi? Alexi.
Yeah, I'm ready to jump in if that's all right. So more of a wish, I guess, because I think there's just only so much you can fit into one session. But I think we have a party that has several healing moves, so we could stand to get whammied with some stuff, and then
I was expecting to hurt you guys with a Minotaur, but you're so good.
Yeah, we were so good. Next time you have to send 5 Minotaurs.
5 Minotaurs.
At a small size.
I almost had a Minotaur and then several midget Minitars along with him, but I chickened out.
Okay. But that's. I'm sure you'll have more chances to take swings at us, Rich. A mechanical thing that I sort of feel the lack of, and maybe it's because I play a lot of masks, which can tell some stories like this game, right? If we think teen superheroes and demigods have some overlap, but there's a great basic move in masks called comfort or support, where you turn to one of your fellow PCs usually, and you roll to comfort them, to buck them up, to encourage them, to it's just great having a social role directed for inside the party, such that interactions with other PCs have mechanical teeth, and I do feel sad not to have that as a tool in our toolbox with demigods, because I'm like, look at the basic moves, and it's like all of these are really about dealing with the world and stuff. Like there's none of them are like kind of a friendly move you point at one of your teammates.
I mean, I hear you. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Provide can serve that function. I don't feel like the write-up for it inspires you to do it, like encourage. It just is a thing. Oh yeah, you can provide aid, which could be talking to them to make them feel better.
Right. I guess that's a good point.
But I do think that it could be spruced up to be more clearly social as well as physical. So I hear what you're saying, Alexi. Anything else? No? Okay, David, what thorns did you have, my friend?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the easy way out too, and kind of talk about the mechanics a little bit, because I was kind of trying to figure out how to parse the artisan a little bit, because one of the reasons why I didn't pick the third move before we started, because I was trying to figure, like, none of the moves specifically are like, this is how you create artistic works or something. And I was wondering if it's just like folded into the class or something, because there's the one that, I guess one of them lets you make stuff under pressure, or you just get a bonus to perform under pressure when you're making stuff. But I was like, I don't really know. And I'm also trying to skew the class a little bit to be like talking instead of tinkering, which might be pushing it beyond its limits to begin with. So I was like, I should have asked before we started. This is I'm kind of confused, but I think it still worked out. That road scene was really interesting, and the shy thread, it worked out for the best. But I guess like any other PBTA game, it's like they kind of let you interpret it maybe a little too much sometimes. Oh, and also a big thorn for the my actual mechanical problems at the beginning. But I'm glad I finally got them to work.
Me too. I'm glad you were able to join us. And we were able to work past it, but holy crap. I'm sure you were frustrated because I was like, man, he's still trying and it's been a half hour. I was feeling bad for you. Okay, good. Thank you for that, David. That's helpful. Let's stick with you because I do the feedback in snake order. So you get to lead off with roses. What roses or attaboy attagirls feedback of good moments and good role playing you'd like to share with your fellow players?
Oh yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how kind of crazy and over the top everything was. I wasn't expecting that much, like the surfing like fire shark and everything, and yeah, it was pretty great. And I think it took it to a level I didn't think we were going to do, and I'm totally glad it's there though. So kudos to everybody.
Sweet. Thank you very much. So Alexi, what roses did you have?
Yeah, big rose to Pillar talking with artifacts. I am a fan. And a rose to this, like, nicely developing rivalry between Danny and our arcane Colby. That is a nice dynamic. I enjoyed that emerged so organically, and fun that they're now caught in the oubliette of not being here next session, and we'll find out how they get out of that together.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to that too. Sherry, what roses did you have?
I like transformations. I liked the sort of strange godliness and the sort of weird thing with Pillar being like not directly divine at all and being so inscrutable and yet wonderful in the group. I think he'll end up being the anchor, if that makes any sense. So just because he is such an oddball. So anyway, I really enjoyed Pillar's play, of course, but I liked all of the little details that we built.
I agree. I'm really excited to explore this more with you guys. Jason, bring us home. What roses did you have?
So, quick mechanical one. I really like the XP flags on the various books. Some of them are harder to hit than others, but in general, I enjoy them. But I love how everyone played things, but I especially love actually our house. I love that we all live together in this crazy freaking house. I love when you ask us to describe rooms and gardens and whatnot, because it just helps bring that place to life. And then those spaces also become reflections of the characters, like, because they have always been that way, even though they were just described that way. And I could happily just explore the house with everybody and have a crazy like sitcom with the demigods, and enjoy the weirdness of that. So yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm glad. I've recently watched Doom Patrol. That is all. If you have not, you should. It is wonderful. Yes, I had a really great time with the things you guys were throwing at me about the house. Huge rose to Sherry for saying transformation sequence, and rose to all you guys for leaning straight into it, because that was delightful. It was fun. It was unexpected. It was a little silly. The tone of this game, I didn't know if we were going to go there. I'm so happy we did. I think once I saw Danny riding a lava shark, I said, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, this is where we need to go. And I'm here for it. So cannot wait for more. You guys are awesome. More Pillar is so wonderful. Thank you, David, for revisiting that character and being open to try to flex it into this game. It's awesome. And I just love the verve you guys are bringing into it, as well as your gung-ho-ness with a game system that was, I think Lexi is more familiar than most, but it's still kind of newish. So this is really fun. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you all so much, and I'll see half of you in a week.